So this is for the fellas. This is really about the fellas. Guys, we live in a world today where the agenda seems to be more about what you can do for women and not what women can do for you. Now, typically, a man has a vision. When a man has a vision, he's qualified for help, because in order for a man to achieve his vision, he's not designed to do it alone. He's designed for help. One of the first red flags that you need to understand, fellas, is if a woman comes into your life, whether voluntarily or you try to get her into your life, and she has a propensity to look for you to qualify for her, look for you to cater to her, look for you to do for her in terms of what she's trying to accomplish, that's out of order. Now, don't get me wrong. I do want our women to accomplish what it is they're trying to accomplish. I do want our women to get catered to, and I want all of those things. But the order of how they get those things is different for the order of how a man gets those things. Let me show you. If a man is on his purpose and he meets a woman who has a purpose, which we all have purposes, but let's just say that we both identified what our purposes are. And a man tends to cater to what her purpose is and forsakes his purpose, is out of order. Because he'll be more concerned with the outcomes for her than he will be for the outcomes for his life and his vision. So you say, well, how can he help her get where she needs to get to if he's concerned about where he needs to get to? That's because it depends on the purpose and the pairing of the purposes. See, a woman, just like a man, has what's called authority. But the way that a man gets to his purpose is he has to walk in his authority. The way that a woman gets to her purpose is she has to submit her authority to a man. And that doesn't mean she submits her authority to any man. It just means that she submits her authority to a man that can take her authority, use her authority, accelerate him getting to his purpose, or more efficiently getting to his purpose. And the byproduct is all the things that she needs and wants will be added unto her. See, if a man is trying to get to his purpose, let's say he's not there yet, and he meets a woman, and her vision, she submits her vision to his vision, that's going to accelerate him. Quite naturally, once he gets the reapings of following his purpose and walking in his authority, he's going to have fruits, right, from what he sowed. Once he has fruits, by nature, if he is of sound mind, he should first turn to his helpmate and lavish her with the surplus of fruits. For simple math numbers, let's just say he's able to go out there and get 10. And he meets this wonderful woman, and she submits her authority to him. And now he goes from getting 10, which is plenty for him, but he goes and he gets 100. Now, prior to him, she couldn't even get 10, right? Or let's just say she could get 15 because she's a lot further in her purpose, right? But now her submitting her purpose. So let's take those two numbers, 10 for him, 15 for her. Let's for the sake of argument. Now when she submits her authority to him, that's a multiple. And let's just say he goes from 10 to 50, 10 to 75, 10 to 100 even, right? 100-fold. Well, he'd have never got to 100, or at least he would have never got to that larger number without her as fast as he did. Maybe he would have got to that number, but he would have been ripe and old. But he got to his purpose, right? And the fruits, and I'm not just talking about money, I'm talking about all things fruit. And that is metaphorically. But he's got 100 now, right? Even if he had 50 from her submitting her authority to his authority, 50 beats 25. Remember, 10 and 15 is 25. So alone, he did 10. Alone, she did 15. It doesn't make her better because she can produce more fruit at that particular stage. She just may be, what if her ceiling by herself was 20? And what if his ceiling by himself was 100? It just took him many, many eons to get there by himself. So the two working together, multiplication does better than addition. But division does worse than subtraction. And when you're singular, it's plus and minus. When you are plural, it's multiplication and division. So when two people or more are working together, that's going to be multiplication. So now let's just say, because it's a round number, a good round number, let's just say it's 100. Her peak, which only the Most High knows, her peak is 20. His peak is 100. When a man has a surplus, even though a man should be a dictator, a benevolent dictator, should be in charge, he doesn't take his 100 and say, now I've got 100 for myself, I don't want to share it with nobody else. No, he's looking to share what he has. So if he foresees and has 100, if he gave her 20, would it hurt him? He's still got 80 left. But our women today, because they're lost and they don't understand, they don't see the big picture. They just know how they feel. And when you're dealing with your feelings, all you see is the moment. All you see is what looks good in the moment. So when a woman comes into your life, voluntarily or involuntarily, and she starts talking about, well, take me shopping, pay my bills, pay my rent, pay my this, pay my that. And let's just say she's already out there doing those things, because a lot of our women today, more than a majority of our women out today, they feel like even if they are taking care of themselves, they feel like when you come into their life, you should start taking care of what she already takes care of herself. And she's going to do one of two things. She's going to fall back from doing the things that it takes to take care of herself, and she's going to try to lean more into a leisurely lifestyle. Or if she continues to work, she's going to use you as a sponsorship, and she's going to take her money and she's going to invest it, and she's going to put it into things that will accentuate her, that will accelerate her, that will magnify her, while you as a man just takes on an extra responsibility. And she'll lean into, you're supposed to be a man, you're supposed to be a gentleman, you're supposed to be a provider. And one of the things that we miss today as men is, it is cool to be a gentleman, it's cool to be a protector and a provider, but not to just anybody, to the person who has earned it. And the person who earns it submits their authority. And the person that has submitted their authority, they have a keen interest in making sure that as a man, you get to where you need to get to as efficiently as possible. Their mission becomes your mission. And how do you know somebody's mission becomes your mission? You don't have to tell them to do things that are obvious. They see them, they anticipate them, and they get right to it. But if you have to, oh yeah, I'm down for you, and you have to tell them the most basic, mundane things to do for you. Hey, I need you to go and check this. I need to check my email. Hey, I need you to file this paperwork. Hey, I need you to do this. Hey, I need you to do that. And those things are obvious that they need to be done. Hey, I need you to answer a few phone calls. Whatever it is. And you got to tell them to do that. Even if you tell them and they do it, that's not what it's supposed to be. You don't need to have a life where you're spending so much energy telling your partner, well, not your partner, but telling your helpmate. Because partnership is something totally different. Telling your helpmate, and that's not what real men are asking for. Real men aren't asking for a partnership. Real men are asking for a helpmate. Look out for me. Be my eyes. See what I don't see because I'm in the trenches. Assess what I can't assess because I'm in the trenches. I can assess it, but if I step back and assess it, then I'm not in the trenches. And the trenches is the most important thing. So I need you to assess. I need you to see from afar. I need you to see, look over my shoulder in my best interest. I need you to alert me when there is a stumbling block. I need you to work out the details. Hey, listen, I know how to pay the bills, but listen, if I can trust you to take care of that for me, then that's one less thing I got to worry about and much more focus I can put on the trenches. Men need to be in the trenches. That's just what it is. Whether it's figuratively, literally, spiritually, emotionally, men need to be in the trenches. That's what we were created and designed to do. We were created and designed to do that. The byproduct of us effectively being in the trenches is that we will be providers and we will be protectors. What will we provide and what will we protect? It depends on the purpose of our lives. But provision and protection isn't all relegated to money. That's a part of it, and it's a major part of it. But it's also a minor part, if you will, in the grand scheme of things, because you could be a master of getting money, but you could suck at everything else as a man, and your money won't matter because you're not doing what you're supposed to be doing with your money. So again, when a woman is submitting her authority to you, then how is she your helpmate? She's anticipating everything that you need before you need it. She's paying attention to you and your habits and understanding where your strengths and your weaknesses are. She's plugging the holes in the dam of your life where they need to be plugged so you can uphold and so you can stand tall. She's making sure that everything that you could possibly need, she's answering the bell to without you asking. When she is finely tuned into you, you hardly have to ask her anything. You will ask for her to do things that are not as obvious that need to be done. You won't have to ask her for anything obvious. So this notion of what does a woman bring to the table or whatever the case may be, it should be summed up real simple. Submission and anticipation. Because if she's anticipating and she's submitting to all of your needs, you're good. Men are going to protect what's theirs. And whatever is theirs, men don't ask for. So if you have to ask for something of your woman that is vital and that you need, use your imagination, that's not your woman. And that's not your woman because she hasn't submitted her authority to you enough to be in the anticipation phase. Her major is supposed to be you. You are supposed to be the most important thing to her. She making sure that you get where you're supposed to get to should be the most important thing. And I would even challenge to say the only thing that's important to her is where you get. Now, some of you are sitting there saying, so what? A woman can't have a life? No, that is her life. That is her design. Her design is to submit, and her design is to help, and her design is to be your companion. That is the first two things that she's designed to do. She's designed to be your companion, and she's designed to be your helpmate. And those two things really require 100% of her time, effort, and energy. If you're in a relationship with a woman and she's always making time to do something that doesn't have any contribution to what your vision is as a man, she's not your woman. And I don't care how long she's been doing it, or a lot of times you'll see in today's modern relationships and marriages, women will complain after 5, 6, 7 years or whatever the case may be. You know, I really lost who I was. I really lost who I was as a person. And I need to be happy and I need to find myself. Well, that means you're not cut out to be married. So going out there and trying to find the grass greener on the other side is not for you. Maybe you need to be by yourself. But if you're going to be by yourself as a woman, then you need to be prepared for the future. You cannot go out there into the world using your feelings to think, making decisions based on your feelings. Because in order to be in a cold world, you can't be using and operating in feminine energy. Now, when you start operating in masculine energy as a woman out there in the world, it's going to take something from you. It's going to take the remembrance, if you will. It's going to take the memory of how to be a woman. And it's not so easily switched on and off. So when you do run across somebody as a woman that you like or you think has potential, they may have potential and you may like them for good, sound reasons. But because you can't flip the switch like a man can flip the switch, then you bring that masculine energy into that relationship. And a real man isn't interested in masculine energy. He's interested in feminine energy. He's got the masculine energy. Despite what you think masculine looks like, he has the masculine energy. And just because a man meets a woman that makes more money than him, that doesn't mean that she's more masculine than him. Let me tell you why. 9 out of 10, go look up the statistic. 9 out of 10 successful women get their money from one or two places: a divorce or an inheritance. Now, before I jump into that, let's talk about an inheritance, okay? There's in the and this is old. Some of this you might go over your head. Some of this, you know what I'm talking about. There's 4 cash flow quadrants, okay? Okay, if you can imagine drawing a lowercase t, and at the top left put employee, okay? That's the majority of people who are making money legally. Right below that on the left bottom, you put self-employed. Well, that's just owning your work. The right side is where you want to be, which is at the top right. You got the business systems. The business systems is you got people working for you, but it takes money to get people to work for you. And at the bottom right is where you ultimately want to be, as an investor, where you're no longer working, but you got so much money that your money is working for you. Enter OnlyFans. Okay, women have experienced a tremendous amount of income from getting an OnlyFans page. So now they charge whatever they want to charge, but let's just give you an example. If a woman is charging $10, let's just say, because it's easy math and I don't have to compute. If she's charging $10 a month for an OnlyFans, where she's taking pictures of herself, racy videos, sexual encounters, or whatever the case may be, and she's charging $10 a month, $10 even, okay? Doesn't sound like a lot, and it's not even talking about the videos that she might upsell, or the pictures that she might upsell, or exclusive things that she might do for somebody. She's making $10 a month. That's not a lot. But because of the attraction that she gets, the membership goes up. Let's just say the membership went up to 100. So she makes $1,000 a month just showing pictures, videos. Let's just say it's $10,000 a month, right? So she's making $10,000 a month because she's got 1,000 members, which isn't hard to do. You have people up there who have 100,000 subscribers. Can you imagine 100,000 subscribers and you multiply that times 10? So a woman literally gets up in the morning to make sure that she looks good. We're going to give her the benefit of the doubt. We're going to take surgery and everything out of it. Let's just say she gets up in the morning and she goes for a nice run, exercise, or whatever the case may be. She spends 2 hours making sure her body looks tight. She goes for a nice run. She goes to the gym for an hour and she works on her upper and her lower body. Everything's intact. She goes and she buys makeup and stuff like that. She uses filters, this, that, and the other. It makes herself look as perfect as possible. That's not really hard work. That's something that a woman would normally want to do just from an attention standpoint, because they're attention-seeking creatures. Well, if she's got 100,000 fans that's devoted to her, her basic pay on $100,000 is $1 million a month. Name something that a man can get into quite easily as OnlyFans and make $1 million a month, $12 million a year. And that's if she wants to do that. That's not the only way that she can become very well off. Like I told you, inheritance or marriage, divorce. She can just be pretty, not expose herself, find a man who makes good money, because if she's very, very beautiful and attractive, she's going to attract certain kind of men. Now, she will attract those men for one or two reasons. They'll either want to build a relationship with her and do something long term, or they'll want something short term like intercourse. And because women are in their feelings, they have a difficult time differentiating between the two. And what doesn't help them a lot is when a man is interested in her, she's not sure which one it is. She just sums it up. He's interested. And when a man knows that she can't tell the difference between the two, he'll say, oh, she thinks I'm interested in her for something long term. And since I want to continue to have access to her, I'll tell her whatever she wants to hear. That's where the old adage, men lie and women wear makeup, because men are visual. Women are, I guess for a lack of better terms, perceptual. It's what they hear. In my lifetime, no matter how much I had it going on, women weren't glued to me until they got to know my personality. Now, do I think it doesn't matter about the looks part, but do I think I'm an unattractive person? Let's leave it at that. Do I think I'm an unattractive person? Absolutely not. But do I think that I can walk down the street with no knowledge of who I am and women would swoon over me? No. Are there going to be some women that swoon? Sure. But that's for any guy, because it's attraction. Some women will find you attractive and some women won't. But to make things worse, in modern day, women don't find men attractive unless they see symbols of, for lack of better phrases, what he can do for me as a woman. You can be totally attractive as a man, but a woman, if she don't feel like you got some sense of motion going about you, if you don't show her some symbol of wealth or some symbol of, hey, I've got me some resources that I can provide for you, most women won't even entertain you. They won't even get the time. They won't even take the time. Like, they feel like a couple of dinners and a couple of conversations is too much time wasted trying to find out inevitably if you're worth her time. She will make that assessment real quick and upfront. Why? Because she gets so much attention from men, she don't have to. Somebody is going to show me something right away, and somebody's going to show me something obvious. You see a lot of these gold digger videos where guys are parading around with these nice cars, but before they let the girl know about the car, they want to go and talk to the woman. Well, that woman has no interest in them. They're always running late. They're always running to get to somewhere. They always got a boyfriend, which most of the time they don't. They'll tell you anything to throw you off and turn you off. And then when you see those guys go back to their car, that car represents a symbol of, he got it going on. He got some motion. They totally, because they live in their feelings, they totally forget the last most recent output of disrespect, disregard, and lack of interest, and they will say, hey, what you say your name was again? And they're totally interested again. And they feel like you're living in the past because you remember that they showed no interest in you, and you no longer want to entertain someone that's not interested in you. And as a man, if you entertain her because she comes back because you got some symbol of, I got it going on, or I got some motion about me, you're a simp. You're a trick. And you're entertaining somebody that really doesn't like you. How can somebody have the best interest for you and they're not interested in you? They got to be interested in you in order for them to be interested in your vision. Your vision has no chance if a woman's not interested in you. So she got to be interested in you. So really and truthfully, we think that we're supposed to go out there and we're supposed to hunt for women. But the reality is we're supposed to hunt for our purpose, walk in our authority. Because when we walk in our authority, then everything that we desire will be added unto us, and we can make a determination what we want to do with it. If I'm walking in my victory, if I'm walking in my authority, and a woman approaches me, I have the pure opportunity to determine what I want to do with her or not. If I want to be cool with her, if I want to work with her, if I want to intercourse with her, if I want to have a relationship with her, if I want to see if I can marry her, it's at my authority. But when I go and I chase a woman, then she can dictate the terms. And men, we don't need women dictators, because a woman typically is going to think with her feelings. And the one that's dictating is the one that's in control. And so do you really want somebody who makes bad decisions in control? Oh, you trying to say all women make bad decisions? No, most women do though, because they're not designed to be in a position of authority. They desire to be in a position of authority because they like the perks of power, but they really don't know what to do with that authority most of the time. Why do you think we have a constant struggle of why women aren't in leadership positions, or we need more women in leadership positions? If it was a matter of natural qualifications in a male hierarchy, it's the best man wins. So if somebody, whether it's a man or a woman, is proven to be able to do the job right, proven to make good, sound, quality decisions, gender's out of the window. But what we do in a lot of fields, like the military, for an example, or like the police academy, is we have to lower down, or we have to dumb down the qualifications for a woman to be able to get in those positions. Whether it's run this fast and this many miles, it's different for a woman. If a man met the woman's criteria qualifications to get into the police academy or to get into the military, then that would be an exceptional woman who would be worthy to get into the police academy or the military. But most of the time, when you look at the numbers that a man must make, and you look at the numbers of what the woman makes, and I'm not making this up, this is just the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth. A man has to run a mile in this many minutes, and a woman has to run a mile in that many minutes. And they're not the same. And if a man meets the criteria of what a woman's criteria is, he's not getting in. He's unqualified. So we make exceptions so women can have choices. And in some semblance, that's cool. But when it comes down to grave decisions and she gets emotional, she's going to make bad decisions. Because the tougher decisions require less emotions. The more hostile a situation is, the more cool, calm, and collected you need to be. And that goes for men too. But we're not talking about all men having all positions. We're talking about men that qualify for a position having that position. It's because if a man is getting into a position and he's emotional or whatever the case may be, we're quick to say, hey, he needs to step down. And the world has no problem with us saying that. But if a woman gets into a position and she makes emotional decisions, if we say, well, she needs to step down, we have a sense of coddling her, trying to make her feel good, subsidizing her so that she can do the job. Even if that means we have to have a ghostwriter, so to speak, a ghost doer, so to speak, so that she can get undeserved credit. You get as your works deserve. That's what my coach used to say to me at Ohio State. You get as your works deserve. But we want to live in a world where we take the credit for somebody else's doing. No, the person that did it should get the credit. So we need to make sure that we understand as men that stop chasing women. And I know women are beautiful. And I know Intercourse is wonderful. I know your flesh is calling out. But if you can control your flesh, you're going to be able to control anything. That's your mission. It's like you realize the biggest enemy is the biggest enemy is the inner me. Get it? INNER. ENEMY. Sounds very similar. Tricky, but they're really the same. You are looking outside for somebody to be your enemy, but the greatest enemy, the greatest challenge is you. Can you get over the things that will hold you back? Can you get over the lust of the flesh? Can you get over the lust of the eyes? Can you get over the pride of life? 3 abominations to the Most High. Can you get over it? Can you run it? Can you master it? And once you master it, can you continue to stay on your toes about it? Because temptation is the strongest adversary. Do you love yourself enough to stay on top of being in control of temptation? And are you in charge of the inner me? Can you tell yourself no when it's absolutely time to, but your flesh doesn't want to? Now, me, for my experience, I can't say that I can give myself total credit, but there'll be sometimes I'm in situations that I'll obviously, from a fleshly standpoint, desire. Something will take over me. What is that? It's the stock that I put into myself. See, you can't get prepared for something at the moment. You have to get prepared for something before the moment. I remember Ray Allen saying, hey, listen, are you nervous in those times where you are in tight situations and you maybe have to make a shot or a free throw? He said, yeah, but I have to trust my mechanics. What a thing to be able to trust your training in your time where your flesh is just completely on fire about something, completely desiring something that's going to take you off your path and your purpose. So you prepare for it. How do you prepare for something and you don't know it's coming? Because nothing's new under the sun. You look at the failures of others. You listen to wisdom and you take those things into consideration so you don't have to experience them. Experience is overrated, but they tell you in this world, experience is the best thing. You're not going to live a fulfilled life unless you experience things. That's not true. Actually, the more things you experience will cause you more depression. The more things you see and expose yourself to will cause you distraction. If your mission in your life is to make $1 million and you're focused on why can't you make $1 billion, you're going to be depressed. Focus on what's for you. Demand that you don't fall short of anything less than what's for you, but do not covet what isn't for you. The old adage is, I want everything that's mine and nothing more. That's the only way to achieve and pursue any type of joy, peace, and happiness. Because if you don't reach your potential, you're going to be depressed. Or if you focus on something that's not your potential, which you'll never have, you're going to be depressed. This is why you see sometimes people who are very well off killing themselves. Not all the time. But sometimes that's what it is. It's enough for it to be an epidemic. That's why when a person is operating in their feelings, they don't even know what they want. Because you give them what they want and they still don't find happiness in it. You hear a typical woman today say, oh, you know what? I want a man who's going to pay all of my bills, who's going to take me on shopping sprees, and who's going to lavish me with vacations and things of that nature. And somebody comes along and they do all of that and they start nitpicking. I really don't like the way he dressed. I really don't like his hairline. You know what? His teeth is crooked. You know what? I don't like the way his natural body odor smells. You know, I wish he was a little bit taller. Man, I really wish that he was a little bit stronger down there. You know what? I don't like the way his feet look. And they will make decisions on those things to not be with you. You can't have somebody like that in a position of leadership. See, because a leader who thinks things through, who filter their feelings through their logic, they'll come across those same things and say, you know what? I really don't like her feet. But you know what? What a woman. She does so many other good things. You know, I really don't like the fact that her bottom row of teeth is crooked, but that's okay. She's still beautiful. And we can fix that if she wants to fix it. And if she doesn't want to fix it, I'm cool with it because nobody's perfect. See, logic is realistic. Feelings is fantasy. Well, let me say it like this since it's the same letter. Logic is life. Feeling is fantasy. Write that down. Logic is life. Feeling is fantasy. Fantasy is something that's so far-fetched that it's not realistic to come true. Because if it was realistic to come true, it would be over there in logic. Because nobody's saying that you can't dream, but you have to have a pathway to your dream. If you don't have a pathway to your dream is just going to sit there. And if you keep chasing your dream, you're going to chase yourself you're going to chase right off the cliff. You ain't even being realistic looking down at where you're going. You don't have a sense of where you are because you are up in the fantasy cloud. Well, I got news for you. In a fantasy you can fly, but in real life you ain't made to physically fly. You're going to have to do the work to fly. You have to build something that you can use to fly. Excuse me. So, again, I want to back it out of gender. I'm just saying that typically women think with the women tell you how they feel, and men typically tell you what they think. Are there men out there that tell you how they feel instead of what they think? Yes. Why is this? Well, I want to say, what would be one thing that we could correct to make men stop thinking with their telling them, trying to make decisions on how they feel? Well, the first thing that comes to mind is 80%, especially in the melanated community, 80% of all children that are born out of wedlock. That means they're born into a single parent family home. And usually the single parent family home is headed by a woman. So a woman is at the head of all decisions. So when that little boy is coming up, and remember, raising is not maintaining. Okay? But when that little boy is coming up and he is being headed by a woman, he's going to more or less watch what she do instead of watch what she say. Just like most kids do. Most people do. And if that woman is notorious for making emotional decisions, making these average subpar decisions, that's where he's going to get his process from. Now, when he gets out of her house, can he grow out of that? Or sure, because he could make a bunch of decisions that lead him to damnation. And he could say, you know what, I don't like the results of my decisions. I got to change my decision thinking process. And he can go and get help, or he can go and get mentored, or whatever the case may be. It's what happened to me. My mother raised me by herself. I grew up and I was very emotional. I made a lot of my decisions based on my emotions. And because I made a lot of decisions based on my emotions, I had trials and errors that I didn't have to have. Blown opportunities that were obviously and strategically there for me to take advantage of. And those L's that I took hurt me so much, I had to look within myself. See, so you never right the ship if you don't know what the source of what wronged the ship. And accountability is only going to help you do that. That is something else that most women struggle with. I'm not saying all women don't, but a woman that takes accountability, she typically knows her assignment and she doesn't deviate from it, and she doesn't get out of it. The woman that doesn't have accountability will always be out of pocket and always be out of assignment. And just because you are out of pocket and out of assignment doesn't mean that you can't achieve some semblance of success. But what did I say? You want everything that's rightfully yours. Nothing more, nothing less. And if you're out of assignment, you can achieve some things, but the reality is you're not going to achieve all the things that you're supposed to achieve. And when it comes to the animal kingdom, everything from the smallest little ant all the way, all the way up to us, and I even go beyond that, the smallest little germ. Everybody has an assignment. Everything has an assignment. Everything has a purpose. And the one area, the one species in the animal kingdom that struggles with assignment is the man and the woman. Some by choice and some by force. Women choose the path because really reality is all of their value is intrinsic inside. Women are like, when it comes to creation, women are like trust fund babies and men are like nobodies. That means that a man has to go out into the world and gain value. I don't care how tall he is, I don't care how good looking he is, this, that, and the other. His value, his worth to a family, meaning, and life is going to be predicated on what he goes out there and do and develop about himself. Women don't have to develop. They don't have to naturally develop. A little girl will naturally grow as long as she lives. A little girl will physically develop all of her attributes that men find attractive. The only thing that a woman needs to do is to preserve and keep the exclusivity of what she has away from everybody until she runs across the right person. That's right. The power that a woman has is her beauty. And how she preserves herself inside out is going to determine the maximum that she can get. The fallacy in all of that is a woman thinks they can, oh, look how beautiful I am. Look at how people think I look. Look at all of the favors and offers that's coming to me. Let me entertain all of those things because those things will be good to enjoy. This guy will take me out and I can have a lot of food. I can have a lot of clothes. I can have a lot of jewelry. I can get this from this guy and get that from this, that, and the other, whatever the case may be. And that's a feeling-based thinker. And up front, they're going to get the things that they like and that they desire. The problem is that value that they have, it doesn't increase. That value is only going to decelerate fast or slow. Even if a woman does everything that she's supposed to do in her life and she lives her life as close to perfect as possible, she's going to lose value in age. Because one of the greatest things that a woman can do is to bear children. Whether she wants to or not, that's one of the greatest gifts that she can give to a man. So if a woman goes out there and she just starts randomly having children with a lot of men, she's going to lose value because the womb has already produced fruit. And no man in his right mind wants to eat off of somebody else's plate. Even though women will try to trick men into valuing something that's not valuable, a lot of women know deep inside when they have that kind of mindset, a man that understands his worth irritates her. She wants to find a man that doesn't know his worth, but worth a lot, because that's manipulatable, if you will. Instead of the preservation of herself, I'm talking about taking care of her, everything from the strands of the hairs on her head to every feature about her face, to making sure her body is in the best shape that it can be in, and to make sure that she's putting the right foods inside of her body so her organs, veins, arteries, capillaries are on point. And making sure that she takes care of her feet, her hands. These are the things that men are going to see, and minus the organs and everything. That's just going to give you longevity. And then once she understands how to do that, understanding that there are going to be a lot of men that are attracted to her, but if she reads the keys of her father, her protection, her covering. If she follows the appropriate keys, she's going to be able to wean out. Yes, this guy is very attractive. Yeah, this guy's got a lot of money. Yeah, this guy got a third leg, or whatever it is that women like and will sell themselves to the street for today. She'll say, but this guy doesn't want anything serious with me. He just seems like he wants to bang. And once I bang him, I lose value. And I may get attached to him because I'm not banging no one. And so the man that bangs me, I'm going to have pair bonding with him. And if that guy doesn't want to pair bond with me, that's going to hurt me. That's going to break me down. And then it's going to make me less likely want to pair bond with the next person. So I've got to be, as a woman, selective, is what she says. And she's taught that from an early age. Remember, you can't be prepared for the temptation at the temptation. You have to be prepared for the temptation long before the temptation gets to you. And these are the temptations that women get to. They get caught up in the allure of high provision. They get caught in the allure of high protection. They get caught up in the allure of high leisure, when they're really designed to roll their sleeves up and get to work next to a man. And if you run across a man that's already crossed the finish line in terms of the things that you desire, great. But sometimes it's the patience that you need to have with the right kind of man that has a vision that you can see and submit your vision to. Maybe that guy you meet, maybe you meet a guy and he's 23, 24 years old, but he's got his mind focused on his goals. He's trying to hit this. He's trying to, whether it's school, he wants to finish by this time and he's on track. Whether it's his business, he's working towards that and he's on track. Your years that you're using in your 20s to go out there and having fun is really the time that you have to be patient with the right one. Is it a guarantee? Nothing is a guarantee. But do you want to play the possibilities or the probabilities? And we talked about this before. Possibilities are not likely. Probabilities are. So am I saying you're guaranteed to get a man that's going to walk you into happily ever after? No. But I promise you, if you get a man that has a vision and he strives and tries for his vision, and you can see yourself helping him with his vision, you guys are going to accomplish what you're supposed to accomplish. Maybe you always wanted to be a billionaire, but you only end up making $300,000 or $400,000 a year. And that was your design and that was your goal. Want was for you, not want was what you want. Because you're never going to find peace. And if you don't find peace, you can't be someone else's peace. So what are you going to do? Next, fellas, if you run across these women, I know you want women, but I really, really encourage you, fellas, just focus and lock in on your purpose. Nothing else is going to ever be important. Even when you meet a woman, she should never be more important than your purpose. Because there are a lot of men out there that get with women and they have a nice little ride, and then all of a sudden when a woman decides, because she feels some kind of way one day, that she's going to check out of the relationship, you have to be so devout to your purpose that it doesn't distract you. Is it going to hurt you? Sure. Is it going to make you cry? Possibly. Is it going to make you weep? Yes. But if you are more devout to your purpose, while you're crying, you're still moving towards it. While you're hurting, you're still moving towards it. And you know what? That too shall pass. It'll pass. You'll just wake up you'll start waking up and you're crying less. It'll hurt less. And that's something that you have to look inside of yourself, because remember, if you're following the path of the Most High to the T, there's certain things that are not designed to happen to you. Every experience ain't your experience. But because you go out there and you look for every experience, you get the repercussions of every experience. Experience doesn't care about what you want. Experience doesn't care about how it makes you feel, how it leaves you. and what condition it may leave you in. Experience is just for the streets. It's just out there. But wisdom cares about your well-being. Wisdom cares about your outcomes. Wisdom cares about your cuts, your bruises, and that's why they call it Lady Wisdom. Wisdom is nurturing. Experience isn't. And we all need the right type of nurturing, and we all need the nurturing in the right time. Now, I'm not saying wisdom is always going to be soft, gentle, and wonderful. Sometimes wisdom is going to hurt because love is not all soft. Love is hard as well. Love is hard as well. Love will tell you what you don't want to hear, but would rather tell you what you don't want to hear so that you don't feel what you never want to feel. Hey man, leave that girl alone, man. She's really got you distracted and off your purpose. I know your flesh doesn't want to. She's so gorgeous. She's so attractive. She makes you feel so good. But she's distracting you, and she doesn't care that she's distracting you. She hasn't submitted any authority to you, and you're trying to appease her authority. But you're so lost and caught up. Remember, the temptation has to be prepared for prior to. If you guys are Bible readers, right? One of the first things that happened with the Messiah when he came out of the desert is he was tempted. But it was all of the preparation in the desert that made him ready for what he would be tempted for. And there's no way for you and I to know if he knew he was going to get tempted. But we can assume that the connection that he had with the Most High, because we only know in part, right, showed him, you need to do these things over here. And there was no question about it. A lot of times you guys want to question why you need to go to boot camp, why you need to get ready for something. Why are we doing this? And a lot of times y'all make the decision based on if what you're doing it for is something that you ascribe to. But that's not how vision works. Vision, I don't know what tomorrow holds. But my faith is trusting that whatever comes tomorrow, as long as I do what I'm supposed to do today, I'll get through it. There was a guy, I don't know if this was his original song. His name, rest in peace, was Daryl Coley. He had a song called, I can't remember what it's called, but it started off like this. He's preparing me for something I cannot handle right now. That's what vision is. You don't know the fullness thereof of what the vision may be, but you trust whom gave you the vision. And if whom gave you the vision incites you to do a certain task, you're better off not questioning it, whether you feel like doing it or not. Remember, the one that created you isn't concerned about your feelings. He's not concerned about your feelings. Matter of fact, a lot of you know that your spirit that's inside of you, the energy that makes us awoke and alive and makes decisions, the things that's making me do all of this right now, is the energy inside of me. The difference between me and a dead man is the energy doesn't exist inside of that corpse. So without my energy, without my spirit, I am just a corpse. So everything that I do is done by the energy that's inside of me that gives me the instruction to do it. And it's the consciousness of my higher self up here. See, vegetables, people who are brain dead, they don't have the propensity to be able to do anything with that body. But it is what is up here that gives the instructions to every inch of your body. So stay with me where I'm going with that. But because your energy, your spirit that's up here, your higher self, gives you the instruction of what to do, That's what makes you know what's right and what's wrong. But the fight, the inner me, is this. It's your flesh. There's every part of your body that wants something, but it does not understand when it needs it or when it doesn't need it. It just knows to function the way that it's supposed to function. So all of the veins, arteries, capillaries, organs, and things of your body, it has a want, it has a need. But it can't differentiate between what it wants and what it needs. It's the consciousness up here that tells you when it's time for and when it's not time for. Stay with me. So now, the battle, that's why I say the real enemy is the inner me, because the inner me, which is the desires of every inch of your body, isn't concerned with the instructions of your higher self. So the battle is between your higher self, which is not really trying to battle with the flesh. It's just trying to do the assignment that's been given to you. That higher self starts fighting all of your flesh. That's why we battle the principalities. Because principle is what we know we're supposed to do, but our flesh will make it hard for us to do it. Now, if we can conquer our flesh, if we can master our flesh, we can begin to move through our flesh and the fight of what our flesh wants easier and easier. But it's going to be hard at first when you first start battling the flesh. You will have to develop the exercised muscle of accountability and the exercised muscle of discipline, self-discipline, to be able to get through those things that are trying to hold you back. Once you starve something enough, when you first starve something, that's the biggest fight. But once you consistently starve something, it starts to die. And you want every aspect of your flesh to die when it comes to getting in the way of your spirit. And here is something that's really rewarding. When you do get to that particular point, it's amazing. You start getting all of the desires of your heart. Going back to the woman. The woman wants all of these things from a man up front without having to work for it, without having to earn it. And the spirit and the Most High is the same way. The Spirit and the Most High wants you to have all things. Wants you to live life and live it abundantly, more abundantly. Wants you to walk in victory. But they want you 9 times out of 10 to be able to say no to the things that you want and the desire that you want up front, to show that the Most High has your attention. The Most High has your devotion. The Most High has your lean in. Because remember, what a woman is to a man is what man is to the Most High. So you need to look no further than the correlation between the Most High, man, woman, child. Because the same thing that needs to go up the chain goes up on every level. And the same thing that comes down the chain, it comes down on every level. What is that goes up? Respect goes up. Unconditional love comes down. Your man knows what you want, but you're not going to get the best of him unless you give the best of you. The Most High knows what man wants, but you're not going to get the unmerited favor from the Most High unless you give him the consistent respect for his authority, his compliance that he wants you to follow. And if your feelings is going to make you make excuses, which it will, you're going to fall short of getting everything that's supposed to come to you. The Most High has great plans for us. Life is supposed to be wonderful for us, but we get in our own way of life becoming wonderful. We struggle because of ourselves and our decisions and our choices. Not saying that if you follow the Most High and do what you're supposed to do, you're not going to have struggle. You're going to have purposeful struggle. That means it's going to be given to you for the time period it's supposed to build what it's supposed to build in you, and then it's going to exit when it's time for it to leave. But when you choose to do things that don't necessarily connect with your purpose, you deal with a lot of punishment and you deal with a lot of trials longer than you have to. And in some cases, you deal with it all your life. I know that it is permissible, and this is going to flip you guys, but you can trust and verify. I know that it is permissible for a man to have more than one woman, right? But it's not permissible for a man to recklessly go out there and be with more than one woman. You have to earn your position to be able to do certain things. If it's designed for you to have 3 or 4 women, it's something that you must do, and it's something that you must earn to be able to do. You can't just say, oh, well, I have a desire to be with more than one woman, so I'm going to be with more than one woman. You don't have yourself together. You can't take care of yourself, and then you can't take care and provide for others. So it's not your season. It's something else that you need to work on. Granted, that's your desire. Granted, you learn that it's nothing wrong with that in the Most High's eyes, but it's not for you right now. He's preparing you for something that you can't handle right now. You go out there and you get with 3 or 4 different women, and you got a relationship with 3 or 4 different women, and their natural needs start to overwhelm you. You're not in a position to be able to do that. Does that mean you have to take care of every inkling of a woman? No, it just means that you must be able to provide her what she needs so that she can help you the way you need to be helped. Some of your visions don't require you to have multiple women, and some of your visions never will. And some of them never do. But the one that submits to you is going to understand what you need. Like in the book, like in Genesis, when Sarah said, have you considered my maid servant? She knew he needed something, so she offered it. You with a woman that if she know you need something and she too selfish about the deal, she ain't gonna say nothing. And if you say something, she's going to get an attitude with you. See why it's important to not be with everything and everybody? So the people that you're supposed to be down with is going to either have understanding of why you're moving the way you're moving, or trust why you're moving the way you're moving. They may not like it. They may not want to do it, but they'll be like, you know what? I trust this vision. You have to find a woman you have to be with a woman, if it's your purpose to be with a woman, who understands exactly the fact that, or not even understands, but trust your vision. Because there are going to be things that you need to do on the pathway to get into your goal that might not be likable or agreeable. You understand? So, fellas, stop looking for women. Just stop it. These women, these modern women, these 304s out here, there's nothing you can do to save them. They're just going to have to live out their lives, find out what people have been trying to tell them about their choices, and then die off. Remember the story of the children of Israel going into the wilderness? Why did they go into the wilderness? It was their disobedience. Even the Most High didn't want to deal with them in terms of correcting their disobedience. The Most High didn't even entertain that. He just sent them in the wilderness. Let them just go in the wilderness, and we don't have to let them die. And some folks, I know it sounds harsh, you're just going to have to let them die. Let them die to what they're doing. Let them die to their ways, this, that, and the other. The days of you trying to correct somebody when they're on their own and doing their thing, you can't do that. The only time that you can go to somebody and you can help them is if they ask for your help. But these modern women and men, they're not asking for help. They're not coming to you for wisdom. So don't offer it. Just focus on your path. Your purpose is so important. Somebody needs you to be in position for a time that's not here right now. And if you're not in that position, you're the only one that could have helped them. They're doomed. That's how important your life is. You may not feel like that, but you can't let somebody discourage you from your vision or distract you from your vision because somebody's lives are at stake. You were put here. You're already victorious, man. 120 million sperm cells race into an egg, and you were the one that won. And then you question, I don't know what my purpose is here. Okay, you don't know what your purpose is, but you definitely have a purpose, young man. You definitely do. And you need to spend some time alone, whatever it takes to find that out. Sometimes you got to be drawn out to be drawn up. Be drawn out so you can be drawn up. So you can go out there and you can create the masterpiece that you were always supposed to be.